rather than me kind of explain it, we're just going to ask directly to Gina, who is from California, joining me today. Okay, I've got Stacy here from California. All right, so I have Connie with me. Connie is from California. So in today's video, we're gonna have a little girl talk. We're gonna talk to some California girls.
California girls, man.
Who have moved here, but raised in California. And we're gonna talk about winter and their experience, because I want you to know how the winters are directly from them. We get a lot of people who say, man, Greg, we wanna go to Idaho, but my wife's a little hesitant about the winters. So Gina.
Hi.
Hi. Where in California are you from?
So I grew up in the Bay Area in Pleasanton, and then I went to college in Southern California, and then I spent the last 26 years in the Central Coast in Hollister, between San Jose and Monterey.
I am from Laguna Hills, California.
Okay.
Orange County.
How long were you down there?
I grew up, born and raised in California, grew up in the Inland Empire, and then moved to Orange County for college. So I've been in Orange County, or I was in Orange County for solid almost 20 years.
What I love about Connie is, of course, she works with Go Idaho. So she had a very successful real estate career in California, and she's brought that to the Go Idaho team. So we're excited. But the reason why I have her on is not because she's a great realtor. That is one of the reasons. But she has some experience, because this is her first winter here in Idaho. So Connie, talk to us about, how long have you been in California?
I've been there most of my life. I consider myself a forever Cali girl. So being here is definitely something I never imagined myself being, but I can't believe it took me that long to get here.
So first off, why Idaho?
Well, my son went to BSU, and the first time we came to look at it, I was like, I'm going to move here.
We were really looking for an outdoor wonderland.
Through COVID, we owned a business and had to shut down. It was really hard to regain clients after we were able to open up again. And my husband and I just kind of had a talk, and some friends were moving here, and they were like, come on, do it. And we were like, what do we have to lose? Let's do it.
And it took 5 years to convince my husband, but we did.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So we've been here almost 2 years.
Perfect. Do you remember the coldest temperature?
Actually, just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was
I mean, at nighttime it's gotten cold, obviously, but during the day we had I don't know if we were 13, 14, or even it got up to 22, but felt like 17. And I'm a teacher, so we can't go outside for recess if it's under 19. So we had 3 or 4 days that we stayed in all day, lunch, recess, everything.
I remember it was New Year's Day, 2021, I believe, and it was 1 degree. And I was like, oh, this is real. This is real. It was cold.
I remember walking out, and my dog's bowl is completely frozen over. I had to put hot water just to break it up. Your toesies are frozen, and the smoke is coming out. But let me tell you, it is not as cold as you think it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah. And maybe it's because I'm also in a place where I'm so happy here that maybe that's a mindset kind of thing. But I will tell you, the weather is so different, and it's hard to explain.
What shocked you most about your first winter here in the area?
Well, the first winter, I think I was just kind of in this daze. I remember getting here, and there was some sort of freeze that had just happened, and I just remember looking around feeling like I was in Frozen, the movie, and I was like, it's so pretty, everything's so touched by snow and frosted. And I loved it because I've never really been in it before. And I was working from home at the time, so I was driving my kids to school, and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And so it didn't really faze me. But it was the second winter that being here, I felt like it was longer. It lasted longer. I didn't work from home anymore. Okay. So it was like I was in it.
Oh my gosh, I had this huge expectation of not being able to leave my front door, the kids having snow days all the time, and I was actually excited, but I was shocked that it's not as insane as I expected it to be.
Okay.
I'm actually a little bit more bummed out because I was hoping for more snow.
Did you have to go buy new clothing for the winters here?
I did. I think I owned one coat before I moved here, and so you need a long coat, and then you need a thick coat, and I had to buy a lot of new coats.
Some of it, yes. Like, so in California, I used to walk every morning at 5:30, and you hear it's a dry cold here. It's a wet cold there, so even when you layer up, you still get cold. Like, you're cold to your bones. And so I did already have some warm clothes for that. I did get, like, at a Columbia jacket, the gold lining, $275 jacket that still didn't keep me warm enough. But in November, I was so cold, my butt and my legs were so cold I'm a teacher at recess. I came in, I ordered one of those coats that goes all the way like to my shins, and never been warmer in my life, and so cozy. And it was $50, and that's all I needed.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Did you have to switch out vehicles at all to handle the...
No, I'm still working on that. I bought a new car right before we moved here, and so I really love it. And so we just drive my husband's truck when the weather's rough. But yeah, I do want to get a 4-wheel drive car.
Cool.
Yeah.
I did not. I have an all-wheel drive vehicle.
Okay.
I know some of my neighbors did who had 2-wheel drive, but it's really only been a few times.
Do you feel like they should get a new vehicle when they move here to handle just the winter?
So after my first winter, no. They do tell you, make sure your house is south facing because it's gonna, the snow's gonna melt, and you want to do this and that. You want to get a snow plow or something along the lines. You don't need any of that. Does it help? 100% if you're going to go off-roading on the mountains and things in that nature. But I think that where we live, it's not what people expected when you need a new vehicle. Does it help a little bit? Totally.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessary. It is fun though.
Did you expect more snow, or was it less snow than you expected?
It was more than I expected.
Okay.
Our realtor will never let her forget this, but when we asked her about the snow, she was like, yeah, it snows, but it never really sticks. And so that's been like our ongoing joke with her. Whenever there's snow outside, we'll give her a little text like, oh, it's sticking today.
Your first snowfall in here, describe that for someone, was it everything shut down? Impossible to get out?
No, it was 100% magical. I feel like it was the most beautiful morning when you wake up and it's all powdery white. I feel like everybody here kind of knows how to handle it. The driving was amazing. Everybody's slowed down. Everybody's super respectful. It's not like Southern California when it's raining and nobody knows how to drive, and everybody's either speeding or kind of flipping people off or whatnot because we don't know how to drive in the rain. And wherever you go, all the stores, they sand or they salt the floor so no one's slipping. Nothing was shut down, which was great. Everybody has the sense of community, so you shovel your driveway and your walkway so people can walk their dogs, or you have delivery. You don't want anybody slipping. So you really see that shift really quickly, and no one just skips a beat. It was just great.
So was the snow more or less than what you thought?
I'm not sure. I think now we're like, man, we wish it would snow more, stick longer. And of course, just in the past 2 years, everyone has said, this isn't normal. So I'm not sure what the normal is. And I live in a little bit higher elevation in Dry Creek. And so I get more than down here in Meridian. And so there's still a little bit of snow right now on my lawn. But it was what I would expect. I mean, you think you're moving to a place that gets snow, and you're going to get snow, but it's not a worry. Doesn't keep you from going anywhere, getting out. We go on walks every day still. I'm a teacher, and at school we go to recess in the snow. Even if it's snowing, we go out, and it is so fun to see the kids. There's always somebody wearing shorts, and they just still play, and it's so great.
Anything that like surprised you or shocked you, or you had to switch up your routine of any sort with the winter versus summers, or just anything that stood out to you?
It's definitely dry here.
Okay.
Yeah, like my hair, my skin, everything. I'm like, like I need to take a bath and lotion every day because it's just it's drier than it was in California.
Okay. Was there anything that shocked you or surprised you about the winters here than you couldn't find online or the research?
The dry air is really dry, so I did have to change my skincare, have a heavier cream for the winter. Your face and your skin feels so dry, so itchy. But other than that, no.
So have you experienced a different skincare routine or anything like that for you?
So I came prepared just because I did feel that might be a possibility. But actually, it has not been for me. Southern California, I feel like maybe the dryness, must be the same. So I'm still, putting lotion on and things of that nature, but I don't feel like it's drier. I don't feel like that shocking difference is really there.
So what are your overall thoughts about winter, or I guess your overall perspective, if knowing what you know now, would you still have moved to Idaho for the winter?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would?
It is great living here. Yeah, I love it. It's even people who've lived here a long time, I think the first snow, everyone's like, it's snowing, or just looking at it is magical because it's different kinds of snow. So it still is really neat. It was neat to have a white Christmas, to just go outside and come home from work, put on some warmer clothes, which is no big deal, and go on a walk, and you're out in the snow walking, and it's invigorating. It just feels so good. Where I feel like in California, if it was like cold or bad weather, which would probably be like 50 or 60 there, we'd be like, oh, it's too cold, I can't go out and do something. But here it's just like, yeah, get out and get in the snow and go on a walk, go on a drive, go up to the mountains, walk on a frozen lake. We just did that. We drove up to Cascade and we were like, okay, we're gonna walk on a frozen lake. It's so cool.
Oh, that's awesome. What are your overall thoughts about winters in this area?
I would say they're mild, because I know other people have it way worse. I don't find it difficult. I think, you learn how to drive in it. You just got to go slow. You know how much you need to bundle up based on, what's going on outside. So I think they're livable and enjoyable, actually.
Is there anything else that just shocked you about the winter here in Idaho?
Besides the fact that it wasn't as terrible as I was thinking and prepared myself for. And no, I don't think so. I think it's been amazing. I'm hoping that it's a little bit longer. It's funny because a lot of people are like, no, I'm ready. I'm ready for the summer. But it actually feels like it prepares you, and you get so excited for the spring activities and the summer activities. And like I said, which is one of the reasons we moved here, because of the seasons really being shorter. Yeah. It really does get to a place where you're like, okay, I'm done with the winter. I'm ready for the spring. And right when you get that mindset, the spring comes.
How do you enjoy the seasons? Do you like the 4 seasons? Like, do you feel like there are 4 seasons?
I do, and that was one of the things when we were moving here. I was like, I'm excited. We get to have seasons. Like in California, it just feels like summer and then a little fall. But here, it's like you get each one, and some are longer than others. But it's nice to have them all.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the 4 seasons here?
I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, we didn't really have a spring, I didn't feel like, so it was more like 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. But fall is just breathtaking. Like, even if I put pictures on Facebook or something, it doesn't even do it justice to be like around it and like driving through the trees or seeing the trees. And the summer, it's hot. Very hot, but you get adjusted. It's like, okay, you go out and do stuff in the morning, kind of hunker down in the middle of the day, or go up to the mountains or somewhere near a river, and then you go back out at night because it stays light until 10 o'clock, which some people might not know.
It's crazy.
10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's still light out.
So you being from California, I'm sure everyone flipped you off, honked their horn at you, and was so rude to you.
Nope. But you always like, we're from California, and it's becoming a majority now,
Yeah.
but also most native Idahoans are so nice and accepting. And if you're nice, they're nice. I think people are nice on the roads. It is a slower pace, so you have to like adjust to driving slower.
Yeah.
And I've only really met a few people who are just like, no, I'm not going to tell a Californian my favorite restaurant. Or, no, I don't want any Californians, whether you're conservative or not, I don't want you here because it's going to raise my tax base. Or literally probably like 3 people have been that way.
Wow. So you being from California, I imagine you're getting flipped off, you're getting honked at, everyone can't stand you and your family. Like, what's been your experience in Idaho being from California?
That's a good question, because I was terrified when we moved here. I couldn't get those plates off my car fast enough. I was like going to the DMV, switching them, and I was just like, oh my God, everybody hates Californians. Like, and when people would ask, where are you from? I'm like, California. But it's really, I mean, that wore off after like 3 months or so. Everyone's been super nice. And I mean, you'll run into like 1 or 2, you know, old timers that are like, "Brr," like, you know, don't change our ways. But everybody's been super nice and welcoming, and our neighbors are great. So it's been feeling good.
So what would you say to someone watching this who is in that situation where they have a spouse who's just like, babe, I can't do the winters there? What would you tell them?
You can probably. It's easier than you think. I mean, unless you're like really need sunshine, but it still gets sunny. It's like last week it was, I don't even know what the temperature was, but the sun was shining. It was still cold out, but it felt warm. Like if the sun is out, it's warm. And you know, you just put on a coat and you're fine. So unless you don't want to, and it's not even bulk up. Like, I feel like I wear thin layers. So I used to think that like, oh, you have to like put on all these layers and be all bulky to go out, and it's not. It's, you know, thin layers, or just throw on your jacket, because in California next to the ocean, it's like a wet cold. So even when you layer up, you're still cold. Here, if you put on a covering, you're warm. That's what the difference is, I think, of the dry cold.
Yeah. Now, what would you say to maybe a spouse or a partner who is thinking about Idaho, but they're hesitant because of the winters?
I would just say it's not that bad. I mean, I feel like it goes by quick. Before you know it, it's spring, and then everything's green and there's flowers. It's so pretty and beautiful. So winter's not that bad.
Well, I so appreciate it. I
course.
appreciate having this girl talk, a little chatty chat about winters. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what would you say to a viewer who's watching this, and you know, what would you say to them about the winters, and they're hesitant to move because of the winters? What would your advice be?
Stop being hesitant. Get yourself on that phone call and give us a call. I literally regret not moving sooner.
Really?
The winters are beautiful. They're stunning. There's so many places that you want to explore than you can even imagine. All you need to do is layer up a little bit of beanie and you're fine.
So there you have it. You have it directly from Connie. If you want to reach out to Connie directly, ask some specific questions, we'll put her contact information down below. You're always welcome to reach out to the Go Idaho team, especially if you're considering making a move here, and those winters aren't going to be as bad. So I've got videos all around me right now. If you want to learn more about the Boise area, just click on one of those. And if you don't mind just hitting the subscribe down below, I would appreciate that. And until next time, I'll see you later.